I asked all my international planty friends to share their philodendron favorites with you for this end of the year party. Let's go! Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Rose, my pronouns are she, her, and today I asked a bunch of my planty creator friends to share our favorite philodendron with you. So you're not just gonna see my face, you're actually gonna see about 20 other people from all over the world, all different ages, genders, skin colors, share their favorite plants and why. I'm so grateful that they all decided to join, so I will share their channels on the screen, their Instagram account, their YouTube channel, and if they have it, their TikTok over here. I've also linked their handle up here, and in the description below, I've linked all of their channels as well. I highly recommend checking them out, of course. My plants you will see all the way at the end of this video. Give this video a like while you're here, it really helps, and let me pass it over to my friends.
Hi, my name is Ebuka. I'm a plant content creator and a plant enthusiast based here in Lagos, Nigeria. So I grow plants both indoors, as you can see, and I also grow the bulk of my plants outdoors here in Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm so excited to be part of this collaboration. I feel like it's long overdue that we get to showcase our African and Nigerian gardeners as well. So I dare say I'm not really a philodendron person, but I have a few in my collection that I actually really love, and I want to show you two of them. Get ready to be blown away because they are huge. They are huge. Okay, Ngwaru, let's begin. The first one is this big mama here, my philodendron gloriosum. Oh my goodness, look at the size of those leaves. Look at the size of those heart-shaped leaves. She can barely even fit into my phone screen. So why I love her, obviously, is because she's beautiful and easy and iconic. One thing I've also learned with these guys is that they absolutely flourish during the rainy season here. They grow exponentially during the rainy season in Nigeria, and that's because they love to be kept constantly moist. These guys love to be watered very regularly, and they also do not like highlight or hot temperatures. So during the rainy season here, the weather is cooler. We have a rainy season that lasts for about 7 months. So I pretty much have this sis dumped underneath the rain, and she is kept constantly moist. I have not allowed her dry out in like a while, and she is just absolutely growing. She has given me a new leaf, and there's another sheet that's already been activated, so she is clearly growing like crazy. So yeah, my philodendron gloriosum. I love this babe. Okay, let's move over to the next one. The next one is just as iconic. It will blow your mind, guys. My philodendron painted lady. Oh my goodness, she looks so beautiful and amazing. I love this plant because I made a lot of money from this plant. So when I first got her in Nigeria, they weren't very common. They're still not as common, but you can still find them more regularly. So I quickly went to work propagating, and these guys propagate so rapidly and so easily. I went to work propagating and I sold a lot. So apart from her being very easy and very rewarding, she has also made me a good chunk of money. So of course, what's not to love about her? I find that a lot of people who grow this in the West, that is not as highly variegated. And I just want to advise that if you want to get this beautiful, vivid variegation, you need to give this plant some direct sunlight. Like it needs like some direct sunlight for the variegation to really actually just pop out and be this striking. And you know, that's where she gets the name Painted Lady from. So some direct, mild sunlight will honestly just take sis to the next level. And of course, bright light. These guys can also take full sun. I've had some that I grew in like full intense sun, but obviously they're not going to look their best. The variegation is going to be a bit sun faded and whatnot. But if you want variegation that's just gonna pop, then give sis some direct sunlight. And that is pretty much it. Oof. I hope you liked those two plants that I showed you, and thank you so much for having me involved in this collaboration. Rose, you can follow any of my socials if you want to see more of my content and more of my plant children. Bye!
Hi everyone, my name is Irene of the channel Leafing Around, and today I'm going to walk you through my garden, pinpointing out some philodendrons. So first up with this is the philodendron Cherenay. I generally love leaves that are like longish or like roundish and cute. So this one is one of my favorite, and it grows really quick too. Next up, Actually, I'll just invite you now to come through my garden. So every plant that I have is outside, outdoor. Oh, by the way, my garden, I am based in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. So I have the privilege of keeping all my tropical plants outdoor. As we come inside the garden, you are greeted by, okay, a fern tree, but this one is really spectacular. It used to be a philodendron godii, but now it's a Tomatophyllum spricianum. I don't know why they keep changing their names. And another plant I really like to highlight to you, not quite a philodendron also, but it actually in Asia, philodendrons don't originate in Asia, so we don't have them. But what we do have are Raphirodoras. So this is a Raphirodora, either a megasperma or foraminifera. They are like cousins of monsteras. They have these beautiful fenestrations. And here I like to show you what they look like in the wild. So this needs something to creep up. Here I put it against some wooden planks, but in the wild you will see them most probably climbing up trees. And while we're here, I'd like you to take a peek at Syzygium jawe, a very beautiful tree, also not a philodendron, sorry Roos. This one is a painful reminder because I paid for it at the peak of its price. It's now fallen to, I don't know, it has fallen, the price has fallen like 95% or more. So this plant, I can't say it brings me joy. Okay, here's the philodendron that I could talk to you about. On this tree here, I've mounted the philodendron patriciae. It's grown up quite nicely, hugging the tree, and I have great ambitions for it to grow and climb up high up there. But if you take a peep closer into this pot, so it's a bit of a strange way how I've done it because I didn't want it to start at the bottom. That would just take too long. So I started midway, and here I've got this beautiful, cute little philodendron gracilae. Gracilae, they are heart-shaped little leaves and they remain very tiny, but they're also very slow grower. I had it for years, so yeah, it hasn't really done much. It's still alive though, so I'm grateful. It's the reason my hands are waving around because there are mosquitoes here. And can I just say I grew this begonia from one leaf and I'm so proud it's now turned into a bunch of begonias. And what else? Oh, I have some seriously big size McDowell here. Ta-da! So they will grow better if they have more light. The problem with my garden is it's rather shady, so everything grows rather slowly. So I hope you've enjoyed my tour. See ya!
Hey, my name's Jake and I like to grow plants and post them on the internet. I'm from Southern California and you can find me on Instagram at Jake the Plant Guy. So Rose wants to hear about some of our favorite philodendrons. Well, this is going to be a bit difficult for me because philodendrons are some of my favorite plants. I love growing them from small to huge. And as you can see here, I've got quite a few, but I'll try and pick out a few. So to start, one of my all-time favorites is the philodendron micans. This is really the plant that got me into houseplants. I just saw it and I just fell in love with it. I loved the velvety leaves, the amber color, and I was inspired when I first saw it on a moss pole on Craig Milran's Instagram, and it just blew me away. So I had to make a few moss poles of myself, and it's really what started the whole moss pole stuff for me. It's a solid, easy houseplant that's great for beginners, especially if you want to grow one of your first plants up a moss pole. So next up, I've got to go with the Philodendron Splendid. This plant, I just love the green veins in the center of the leaves. This is a hybrid of the Melanochrysum crossed with the Verrucosum. You get the beautiful traits of the Milano and Verrucosum without all of the drama and difficulty growing. This thing is a lot easier to grow. I recommend it if you want a large leaf philodendron to grow up a moss pole. And here's a few clips of mine that I grew up a moss pole for about 6 months that I started earlier this year. So let me pick one that's not on a moss pole now. I think I gotta go between the Jungle Boogie and the Ring of Fire. I love them both, but I think I'm gonna go with the Jungle Boogie. I just like the dark green leaves and the simple jungle vibes it gives you. The Ring of Fire is really cool, so I love it too. And they're very similar. Just one's, got that beautiful orange variegation and the other just got that green jungle vibes. And honorable mentions for the Philodendron Blizzard. This thing is a beauty. I started it when it was a very small 4-inch and now it's kind of sized up quite a bit. So I really, can't wait to see this thing maybe get to the size of my jungle boogie one day. So hope you liked some of those philodendrons. This was really fun, and maybe I'll do more of this YouTube stuff one day. So see ya.
Hey everybody, it's me, Derek, the chocolate botanist, and I am here to show a couple of my favorite, I'm not looking at the camera, a couple of my favorite philodendrons. Now, I love all of my philodendrons because God knows when you say you love one more than the others go ahead and just die because they're so jealous that you pick one or the other. We're going to see if I can get this without knocking a bunch of stuff over. This beautiful silver sword philodendron. I got this from Plant Proper maybe 3 years ago, and she is looking gorgeous. The humidity could definitely stand to be a little better where she is so she could have more leaves, but she is definitely a sword I would like to have in a battle. Now, I have lusted after one of these bad boys since I seen somebody else have it on the Plantstagram, Cartrees, Black Boy Plant Joy, and it's a strawberry sake philodendron. Got this from Gunter's greenhouse. You see this beautiful variegation? I just got this within the last month, and it was this size, and I love strawberries. I love the plants, and all of this variegation is giving me life. That's great. Knock over everything, Derek. Is this baby here. Now this, I have had her for maybe like 2-3 years. I got it from For Garden Sakes in Durham off of 751, and it was mislabeled as like Philodendron Panda or something like that. And you see how happy she is. I have cut this one down pretty much to the pot multiple times, propagated those propagates, given them away, and it just keeps coming back. And I love the climbing nature of this one. I love the wildness of it. And it's just like me or Survivor. We're not going to give up. We're not going to stop. We're going to work hard on Destiny's Child bars. I'm just now realizing I never named that last plant, Philodendron erubescens. I want to thank Roos for having me as part of this collaborative effort. I'm so honored. Thank her for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me, Rose. And I appreciate you all. Y'all have a good one.
Hello, my name's Claire. My YouTube channel's The Jungle Haven, and I have brought 3 philodendrons to show you today. 3 of my current favourites. My favourites do change quite a lot, but these are the ones that I am set on for today. And starting with the smallest one, this is a Philodendron pinnatulobum. And this is one that I had wanted for a really long time, and I finally got a cutting of for my birthday recently. I got it as a cutting on Etsy. And the thing I really love about this one is that there's almost something quite anthurium-y about it. There's a rigidness to its growth, and kind of like, I don't know, the combination of that and the lobiness and the ruffliness just gives me anthurium vibes, and I really like that. I think it's very unusual. And I'm currently just growing it in a semi-hydro mix. This is Soil Ninja's Lechuza Pon equivalent, and it seems very happy so far. It's giving me some lovely growth, which is very exciting. And then moving up in size, I've got, in fact, let's do that one last. I've got my Philodendron Splendid, which I swear to God knew was going to be on camera today and has started having a little bit of a tantrum. So let's not show you that leaf. Let's show you this lovely leaf. In fact, that's not her best leaf. There we go. But this is one that I got as a 1-leaf cutting. I got quite a small 1-leaf cutting about 1.5 years ago. And I just feel really, really, really proud of this plant. She's giving me beautiful growth. Although that leaf is obviously on its way out, it's not the end of the world. We are just coming into winter here in the UK, so some changes in plants is kind of normal. It's not what I like, but it is pretty normal. But on the whole, I'm really, really happy with how she's growing for me, and she is getting ready to give me a big new leaf on top there as well. So I'm super excited about that. And then finally, this is another very big one, but this is a Philodendron Dean McDowell. And this is another philodendron that was on my wish list for a really long time before I got it. And I got this one literally bang on 1 year ago. I got it just after Christmas last year. and it had 2 leaves at the time, and it has honestly been the fastest growing and easiest philodendron I've ever owned. It literally doesn't give me any grief. I water it every couple of weeks. It doesn't get the most light. It's just a really beautiful one that gives me constant new growth and is just making me very happy and pushing me out of shot. But yeah, so if I had to pick, those are currently my top 3.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Topping from Sweet Life Flora, and thank you so much, Rose, for inviting us to this international collaboration of plant people and our 3 favorite philodendrons. Mine are not going to come as any surprise because you've seen them all. Hello, hype. So first, let's start off with the Yoepii. The Yoepii was one that I got pre-pandemic, and I was absolutely in love with its leaves. Now, there are other similar plants that have similar leaves, but this one is the coolest of them all, in my opinion. So my plants are smaller than a lot of plants you're going to see, I'm sure, but I have a cutting problem. I love cutting plants. I love propagating. So this Yoepii has probably been propagated 6 or 7 times already. And this is my Linamii. Now, my Linamii is one of my favorites because of the color. So when new leaves pop out, they are a bright salmon pink, and then they slowly harden off into being green. It's just gorgeous. And last but not least is my philodendron billeti. Now, you have probably seen this billeti before. That's the mother plant. Now, I took a 2-leaf top cutting from that mother plant, and it produced this beast in 8 months. So my billeti is going to be something that I am so proud of. So this is the baby to my mother philodendron billeti. And I just love the contrast between the dark green leaves and the orange petioles. Those are my 3 favorite philodendrons. Have an amazing holiday, and I can't wait to do another one of these collaborations again.
Hi everyone, my name is Samuel Gonçalves and I'm a Brazilian botanist from YouTube channel and Instagram profile Botânico no Apartamento. I'm very happy about Rose's invitation to show you 3 of my favorite philodendron. Come with me! First of all, my favorite one, Philodendron subastatum, native from Colombia and Ecuador. Why I love this philodendron? Because his leaves has this reddish face on the back. Look at this, stunning. For me, the leaves are kind of heart-shaped or arrow-shaped form. What do you think about it? And all the leaves became upward. All the leaves searching for the sun, as most from the genus is a very climbing philodendron. At first point of view, it seems like an animal ate these leaves, all these leaves. This is the spectacular Philodendron UPI, a possible hybrid between Philodendron pedatum and Philodendron bipennifolium, described recently by Thomas Croat. In fact, and I'm not happy to say this, this is the most expensive philodendron from my collection. But I love the shape of the leaves. Look at this, stunning. A long time ago, this was considered the holy grail of all the plants. Philodendron spiritus sancti. This species is native just from Brazil. Actually, from 2 or 3 states in Brazil, but specifically from Espírito Santo, what means this species is Spiritus Sancti from Espírito Santo. It has very elongated leaves. They are beautiful with these 2 lobes, very long too. I love this plant. In fact, he supports a little bit of sun from the morning or even from the afternoon. Some people say this is a slow-growing plant, but I disagree. In my apartment, in my cultivation, This is a very fast-growing philodendron, and I love this epiphytic plant native from my country, Brazil. In fact, it was very difficult to me choose 3 of my favorite philodendron. If you want to see more, subscribe in my YouTube channel and my Instagram profile, Botânico no Apartamento.
G'day everyone, my name is Scott and I'm from the YouTube channel Scott Grows an Avocado Tree, and today I'm here to talk about my favourite varieties of philodendron because Rose has invited me here to talk about my favourite varieties of philodendrons and not avocado trees. Ooh. Whoa! Ooh. I'm here today to talk about one of my favourite varieties of philodendron, and that is Philodendron hederaceum, or the heartleaf philodendron. I love these plants. I think they're super easy, they look great, and they come in so many different varieties. Let's take a look at some of my favourites. We'll start with the basic, if you can call them that, philodendron heartleaf. These are the standards, and they're just great growers. I've had this one for a number of years. It is very easily as tall as I am, and that is with quite aggressive pruning at this point. I like to prune these fairly heavily so that they continually put out new runners. I like to give them really aggressive ones as well. I can prune them fairly high up so that they bush out more towards the top, but they're just great foliage plants. Look at those runners. Gorgeous. The next one, which as you can see, very similar growing style to the standard philodendron heartleaf. They are the same species after all. This is the philodendron Brazil. Given its name because of the variegation on the leaves, it looks kind of like the Brazilian flag, I guess. But as you can see, beautiful foliage. We get this kind of lime green taking up a lot of some of the leaves. Beautiful variegation, and yeah, just a stunning grower. And then I absolutely cannot miss my personal favourite of the heartleaf philodendron varieties. This is a philodendron micans. The leaves are just this gorgeous velvety dark green, reminiscent of a philodendron gloriosum, a little smaller, and again, similar to the other ones, loves to trail. This one is a little younger. It hasn't had time to bush out very much up here, but they're just fantastic growers. I mean, look at the aerial roots this one's trying to put out. I love all these heartleaf philodendron varieties. They're not fussy so long as you let them dry out and they're in well-draining soil. They prefer high humidities, but they're not fussed, and they're just great growers. Super easy to propagate, and they're good as trailing plants or as climbers. I've got this one here on a moss pole. It's only been on for a couple of months and it's already starting to establish itself and climb up independently, which is just fantastic. Rose, thank you so much for having me. My name is Scott and I'm from the YouTube channel Scott Grows an Avocado Tree. Thank you so much for having me. Ah!
Hey everybody, I'm Kamili, the creator behind Plant Blurred, on Instagram, here on YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, all the platforms. I'm also the author of Happy Plants, Happy You, and I'm thrilled to be here to share some of my favorite philodendrons. First up is my mighty sword. I love philodendron because you can get the big girls, and I'm very much into big plant energy these days. And this is my philodendron hastatum. I'm going to butcher that, but it's a silver sword. I'm going to have to bring you up for a closer look because you can't possibly get all of it here. Look at how gorgeous this plant is. The leaves are so huge and silvery. It's just one of my favorites. And next up is my philodendron pink princess. This is one of my all-time favorite plants in my entire collection. Like, it's always on the top 10 list. And she does not disappoint. It continuously puts out amazing variegated leaves. I've had this plant now for about 5 years. I mean, look at this top leaf. It's gorgeous. It's practically all black. And contrary to what one might assume, it's really a super easy plant. I don't have any additional humidity. My ceilings are too high, and she's completely acclimated to regular indoor dry New York heat, and it lives under a grow light and is just my fave. And I know I said I love philodendrons because of the big plants. I'm in my big plant energy phase, but I'm going to give up a little love for the very humble, underrated micans. Of all the trailing plants, I think this is the most beautiful with its velvety leaves, and it's so easy to grow. And he's a little bit more light than I originally knew. This is my second go round because I Killed my first, but so far so good. She's growing beautifully. The leaves are gorgeous. And of course, if you let it trail up, they'll get bigger. So that is the next thing on the agenda for this one. I'm going to give her a poll and see how beautiful and gorgeous those leaves will go. Those are my favorite philodendron of 2023 today.
Hey guys, I'm Fern from Wild Fern here on YouTube, and I grow tropical plants in Canada. Philodendron is actually my favorite genus, so thank you so much, Roos, for inviting me to be part of this collab. Unfortunately, I did lose two of my favorite large philodendron earlier this year to thrips, but I'm taking this as an opportunity to practice gratitude and recognize some of the other wonderful philodendron that I have in my collection. First of all, I have to show you my beautiful neon or lemon lime heartleaf philodendron. Look at how big she is. She is just trailing like crazy. I can't even fit her in the frame. I actually have a wall of a variety of different types of trailing philodendron in my bedroom, and I bought this one just to kind of break up the darker shades of green, just to add a nice pop. I wasn't really a fan of it, but I figured it would add to the vision as a whole. Little did I know this would become my favorite plant on the wall, and it has also been the one that has grown the most as well. So it truly brings me so much joy. One of my favorite things about this plant is how the new growth comes in this pinky orange color. It is just so pretty. I love her, and look at just how dense and how lush she is. How could you not be obsessed? Next, we have my Philodendron gloriosum, and I'm including this one because she's made such a great comeback for me this year. She honestly looked like crap, and now she looks incredible, so I'm just so proud of how far she's come, and you can't beat the dark velvety look of the gloriosum. It's just so beautiful. And this is a philodendron that is really okay with lower light, which I so appreciate because I live on Vancouver Island and it's very rainy and gloomy here. To be honest, I'm not usually a fan of crawlers, but this is one that I will probably always keep in my collection. Look how gorgeous she is. Oh my goodness. And last but not least, I have to talk about my philodendron tortum because it's different than anything else in my collection. Not only philodendron, but it's different from pretty much every plant that I grow. So it just really adds something, I don't know, fun and quirky to my space. The reason I got it was because I loved how creepy and weird the new leaves looked when they come in, when they're unfurling. And look at that. We have one looking all sorts of weird right now. I cannot emphasize enough how easy this philodendron is to grow as well. I just have mine growing up a bamboo stake, which I so appreciate because it gives me a break from all of the moss poles. And yeah, she just looks amazing and makes me so happy. So yeah, philodendron tortum. That's it for me. I hope that you enjoyed my plants. Thank you so much again to Roos for putting this together, and I can't wait to watch and see everyone else's picks. Happy holidays!
Hey guys, it's Joan from Only Plants and I'm filming from Indonesia. Thank you so much, Roos, for including me in this collaboration. My first philodendron is this philodendron McDowell. It's actually in water propagation right now and it's put out its first leaf. Look at how huge this first leaf is. I'm going to show you on the screen of what the plant looked like before I cut it up. It was actually grounded and it was doing extremely well, but at the same time it was blocking all the other plants below it. So it's basically hoarding the space. So I'm propagating it. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these cuttings, but they're all doing well. So this is an easy philodendron. They size up really fast and it's got this beautiful pillow-like texture on the leaves and it's heart-shaped, of course. All right, for the next philodendron, you're gonna have to look all the way back here. This is the Philodendron Burl Marx Fantasy, and this used to be very rare and a bit sought after at some point, but I think the supply caught up with demand really fast. This is a very fast-growing philodendron. It's beautiful, it's got thick leaves. They stay small, so for those of you with smaller living spaces, this is perfect, and they do need something to climb onto. And it's got beautiful texture. I just love the elegant shape. It's just got this timeless quality to it. Also, it's very thick-leaved, so it doesn't feel like it's gonna break anytime. It feels really sturdy. And my final one is actually this right here. This is the Philodendron Paraiso Verde, and the reason I like this plant is because it's got interesting marking, and for me the care is super easy. They're super easy to propagate, and you do need to give it bright light and kind of a warm climate for it to give you the best variegation possible. And they have different shapes. Look at them. Some of them have longer shapes. Some of them look like a dragon. Even in low light, this plant did not revert on me. So I've got many of them all around the garden. They're just so fuss-free and they provide a pop of color. And also, if you look very closely around the edge of the leaves, there's this pink rim around it. That's really beautiful. These used to be quite difficult to find and expensive, but because they're so fast-growing, nobody wants them anymore. Nobody talks about them anymore. But this is actually really, really cool, easy. And I want to add one more, the philodendron Jose Buono. That's actually just as easy, and the variegation is very stable. All right, that's my top 3 for now, and I'm looking forward to see what everybody come up with.
Message from Rose. Are you still joining the Philo collab video? Oh, yes, yes. You know, I don't have that many philodendrons, but the few that I do have, I have some interesting time-lapse videos to share. So yeah, I'll join. Hey everyone, it's Darryl from Houseplant Journal, and here are my favorite philodendrons. So just off to the side of this large window, which is southeast facing, this is a philodendron Spiritus Sancti. And today's pretty dark and cloudy, so the light reading is not going to be really representative of what it is on a clear day. You're barely photosynthesizing today. Now, when I first got this plant, it was just about 3 leaves, and they were all very small, about kind of like this size, just about 4 or 5 inches long. And I've got a time-lapse video of that happening, which was pretty exciting. But with each successive leaf, you can see that they've gotten quite a lot bigger. Here is the latest leaf now, which is definitely over 1 foot in length. And I have another time-lapse video capturing one of those larger leaves unfurling as well. Now over on this side of the room, I have a set of floating shelves, and at the bottom shelf here I have a nice bar grow light, under which here sits a philodendron tortum, and this is the latest leaf, which is really nice and big. When I first got the plant, the first few leaves were even smaller than these ones, and in fact when I opened the box they were actually kind of fading a bit yellow, and I was just hoping that, well, you know, put them in the IKEA cabinet and hope that they, you know, can keep growing new leaves. And so luckily they did, and you know, I think with such a really interesting leaf shape, it also makes for a very interesting time-lapse video. And it's definitely one of my more popular time-lapse videos, as you can see here. And last but not least, in my basement, yes, this is a big monstera, but over here, I'm sort of isolating this philodendron 69686 because I discovered that it caught some thrips. So yeah, I treated it, and I'm just kind of keeping it away from my other plants and keeping it under observation. And you know, if I ever notice a thrip here or there, then I will try and just take it off with some masking tape. And here's the time-lapse video I did of the philodendron 69686. So those are the only philodendrons I have right now, but they still produce some interesting time-lapse videos. So I hope you enjoyed them.
Hello everybody, and thanks Roos for inviting me to your favorite philodendron collaboration. My name is Joan. I live in Lagos. I'm a plant and gardening content writer for my website, plantintropicalspaces.com, where I write about enlivening living spaces with tropical plants. And so I'm quite excited to be sharing with you my favorite philodendrons. Generally, I like philodendrons because they are easy plants for beginners, and they're very good for styling indoor spaces. They grow very well in water. But my favorite philodendrons are actually growing out in the garden. So my number 1 favorite philodendron is the philodendron Royal Congo. And I like this plant because it was given to me by a friend I made 2 years ago when I helped her start her plant collection. It came with just 2 leaves, but see how it's grown now. I like its non-vining growth habits, and I just like how majestic it looks in this space here. My second favorite philodendron is a vining one, the philodendron Florida. I just love the interesting leaf shape, and I can hardly wait to see it go up this wall. And here is my third favorite philodendron. This is the philodendron Prince of Orange. I like the pop of color it adds to the space. It grows outdoors in the garden. I just like the very colorful leaves. And that's it. Thanks for watching and happy gardening, everyone. Bye.
Hey everybody, I'm Jan, aka Sydney Plant Guy, and Roos asked me to show you 3 of my favorite philodendron. But how could I possibly choose? I love growing large plants on moss poles, and philodendron is definitely my favorite genus. Specifically, I really like my velvet philodendron. So it's really hard to narrow it down to only 3 of them. So I felt like I'm just gonna cheat a little bit and show you 3 philodendron while standing in front of my wall full of even more philodendron. Alright, first one I want to show you is my Milano Chrysum, which is this one over here. I just moved house and it suffered a little bit, but it has finally given me really nice large elongated leaves. The reason why I love this plant, because it is a reminder that consistency is key. This plant took about 4 years to grow to this size. If I compare that to my big Glorious right next to it over here, for example, that sized up in less than half the time. So it's just a good reminder that growing plants is a marathon, not a sprint, and the longer it takes, the more rewarding are the end results. Alrighty, next up, we're sticking with the velvet philodendron, but we're going slightly smaller. This is my philodendron El Choco Red. And look at this backside over here. Super beautiful and red with really nice veining and a velvet texture. So what's not to love? What makes this plant special to me is that this plant used to be so expensive in Australia, like ridiculous. But I stayed patient and waited it out, even though it was on my wish list for the longest time. I really wanted to get my velvet philodendron collection complete, but my patience was rewarded and I was able to get this pretty cheap, and I was even able to propagate it multiple times already and share lots of cuttings with my friends who also had this plant on their wish list for the longest time. Alrighty, and lastly, I want to switch it up a little bit from the velvet philos and show you this beautiful philodendron ring of fire. I love this variegation, and unfortunately there's no brand new leaf unfurling at the moment, but you can see the next one coming in over here. When they come in, they're really nice and red. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you this plant is because this is a plant that is often grown as like a bushy, trailing plant, kind of. Basically, it's usually not grown on a moss pole. I haven't seen many people growing it on a moss pole. And you don't need to give this plant a moss pole, but it's a great example on how you can use moss poles to create a nice display for your plants. If I wouldn't give this plant a moss pole, this plant would have leaves 360 degrees. And you can see with these super long leaves, this would take up a lot of space. Imagine having the same amount of leaves on the other side of the pole. My apartment would just not be big enough to have a plant that spreads that much. So the moss pole, while giving it a vertical extension of the pot, so more room for roots, also helps keeping all of the leaves on one side. I put this moss pole towards the wall and all leaves will just start facing towards the light, and the moss pole prevents any leaves from going backwards. If you want to learn more about how I grow large philodendron on moss poles in an indoor setting, feel free to subscribe to my channel. It's Sydney Plant Guy on YouTube, Instagram, as well as TikTok. Thank you, Roos, for having me, and over to the next person.
And the next person is me! And I think my picks might be different from what you're expecting. Like, I'm holding up this beautiful plant, but this is actually not one of my picks. I just wanted to have it in frame. And same with this one in the background. I want it to be here because it's beautiful, but it's not actually one of my picks because that would be too predictable. My first pick is actually currently at my brother-in-law's, so I headed over there to show you. This is it! My philodendron Plaumanii. This is the latest leaf hold on. It's too big. I can't handle it. It's a crawler, by the way, and it actually has a flower right here. So that's kind of nice. I love this one so much because the leaves have this cool pattern on them. This one you can see as well. This is the newest one, so it's extra big and pillowy with a pink heart in the center here and also pink backs of the leaves and then the beautiful ruffled petioles. I love the heart shape. I love that it gets this big. It's a very unexpected one. I got this from someone and I didn't really have it on my wish list, but I'm very happy that I do own it now. By the way, it's very dark in my shot. That's not because it's evening. It's actually super gloomy outside. It's been raining, but this is the day before I'm posting this video, and this is the only time I can actually record with the builders having their coffee break downstairs. So excuse the not so good lighting. My second pick is one of my newer ones, and although the Ilsamani is very, very special, that is not the one I'm picking. I'm picking the Radiatum variegata, which is this one. It currently only has 2 leaves, but it is rooting successfully after traveling with me back to the Netherlands. I never knew about this plant. I would have never picked it up myself, but that's what I love about the plant community. You can be inspired by others, and that is also why this video is so fun for me, seeing other people's plants. And so I thought I would show you this weirdo, maybe you've also never heard of it, Radiatum variegata, which apparently can get quite big, but for now it's just a 2 nodes, 2 leaves plant for me. There's no signs of growth yet, but I really like the funky shape of the leaf and the variegation pattern as well. It's yellow variegation, which you know I love. And then my last pick, oh, it's actually almost too dark to properly show you. I've picked Philodendron gigas because I feel like it deserves more love than it gets online. And this is actually even thriving. I need to extend the moss pole, which I'm gonna do right after filming this. But I love what the leaves look like. I don't know if you can see with this light, but it's very velvet. Actually, the darkness does come across very nice. If you love Melanochrysum, but you are struggling to grow it, like I am, then this one is a very good alternative. I've had it in a little bit darker light situation, and it's actually looking very pink at the back as well. Look at those veins. There's a new leaf coming. So I think this will be quite happy with the moss pole extension that I already have here ready to go. I've struggled a lot with this plant. It had thrips over here and all the older leaves have died off, but then it got used to the moss pole and also it got rid of the thrips, so it started to look a lot nicer. Here we go. I changed the light a little bit. That's better. I just had this in the shower, so that's why the leaves are wet. Can you see the velvetness of it? Ah, it's so beautiful. I really hope that with the extended moss pole, I might grow this in my bathroom, in my new bathroom, so that the leaves can get nice and big. You can actually, if you go back a little bit on this video, you can see it in Jan's video in the background as well. He's grown this quite big. I'm hoping to get there one day. I'm very curious to hear if this is the picks that you expected from me. I thought they were quite unexpected. And then I guess that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it and you haven't yet, please give the video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to me below, and you can also check out all the other channels. A big thank you to them for participating in this and sending me their videos. I really, really enjoy making collaboration videos, and I'm planning actually to do a few more in the coming year, not just one at the end of the year. A big thank you to you, of course, for always being here and writing these lovely comments and watching my videos, and to all my patrons and YouTube members for the continued support. It means a lot to me. There will be another video before the end of the year, a planty one on Wednesday like you're used to, and hopefully also a few renovation ones on the weekends if I can get them done in time. So see you there, take care of yourselves, give a big hug to all your loved ones, and if you are celebrating holidays, enjoy them as well. Thank you and bye.